This is Washington Watch. I'm Tony Perkins, your host. Thanks so much for joining us. A few weeks ago, we talked about the persecution of Christians in Nigeria. Well, I want to give you an update and show the urgency of religious freedom around the world and the persecution that's taking place. Nigeria has a lot of problems. One is the Islamist group Boko Haram. And Boko Haram and they're well-equipped, well-trained, and they're terrorizing the Christians in Nigeria. And probably one of their best-known victims is Leah Sharibu. She was one of 110 young schoolgirls kidnapped in 2018. Today is her 17th birthday. She remains in captivity, the only one of the 110 girls. And the reason is because she has refused to renounce her faith in Jesus Christ. In my role as chairman of the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, she is actually my prisoner of conscience that I have adopted to bring awareness to her case. And I would encourage you to pray for Leah and her family. I've met with her mother on multiple occasions, and we have been working to secure her release. And I would encourage you and ask you to join me in praying for her and advocating as you have the opportunity to press this issue with your elected officials. So joining me now to talk more about not just Leah's case, but what is happening in Nigeria and why is Senior Fellow for International Religious Freedom here at the Family Research Council, Lela Gilbert. Lela, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Thank you so much.
Give our listeners an update on Leah's status, what we know about her, and efforts to secure her release.
Well, we don't know a lot, and the reports that we've received most recently, which has been several months ago, are kind of hard to be sure they're even true. That there was someone that was kidnapped and then released that said that she had been made pregnant by one of her captors, that there were other reports that she was married to this person, and that she has a baby. And, of course, we can't be sure of any of this. What we are sure of is that she's now been there. She was 14 when she was picked up in February of 2018, and her life's going by. And it's so hard to imagine what her life is like. But you know, she's the one we can see because we have pictures of her, and there's so many others in Nigeria that are in dire straits. Some kidnapped, some are wounded badly. We've just heard today that 30 more are dead in Nigeria, thanks to the Fulani tribesmen. I put that in quotes. They're jihadis. And once again, they've swept through an area and just slaughtered household after household. So the whole situation in Nigeria is a bloodbath. And Leah, I'm thankful for her because she has such a pretty, sweet face, and it makes me think to pray for all of them. But she's not the only one.
Yeah, and that's the point of our prisoners of conscience, is to put a face to the issue of religious persecution. And not that they are the only ones we focus on, but it's to bring awareness. As you pointed out, she's not the only one. Nigeria, largest country in population-wise in Africa, and it's about 214 million people, almost evenly divided between Christians and Muslims. And there is a fierce attack taking place on Christians, the Fulani herdsmen, and then you add to that Boko Haram. I mean, the Christians are really being targeted there, and this is potentially going to impact the entire African continent and even into Europe as people flee the violence that's taking place there. What is being done to address the situation in Nigeria?
Well, not nearly enough, but we have to give some credit to our President Trump because he did speak directly to the President Muhammadu Buhari of Nigeria, and told him point blank that there were too many Christians being killed. And Buhari kind of nodded and nothing was changed. And he is a Fulani himself, which is a very large tribe, so that doesn't necessarily mean every Fulani is responsible for what's going on there, because these are radicalized Muslims that are doing this. But there's not much being done. There are efforts being made by activists now to try to get more information, get it better documented, get it in front of the State Department so that we can perhaps sanction some of the people that aren't doing anything.
Yeah, this is a very troubling situation, not just from a personal standpoint with Leah and the other victims of this violence, but this has the potential to be a major geopolitical issue if it is not resolved in some form or fashion. Lela, thanks so much for joining us, and thanks for the update.
Thank you.